Stephanie Jenkins want to take their kids to Disneyland before getting their kids a home. Mind you, she just told us that they have been using rags to wipe and clean themselves since they cannot afford toilet paper. She has also been putting everyone's toothbrushes in empty Gatorade bottles. But her man just bought a $100 game.
Stephanie Jenkins, who calls herself the Resilient Jenkins on TikTok and other social media platforms, has recently found herself at the center of serious online scrutiny, and this time, it's not just petty drama or internet gossip. The concern goes far deeper, pointing to something many believe is a growing problem online: the exploitation of children under the mask of vulnerability and hardship. What was once seen as an inspiring story of a struggling single mother fighting to survive has evolved into something far more uncomfortable. It's becoming increasingly clear to many that this isn't about overcoming adversity anymore, it's about monetizing it. In her early content, Stephanie painted a relatable picture of a mother doing everything she could to take care of her kids in the face of housing instability, financial insecurity, and mental exhaustion. Her teary-eyed videos and emotional appeals drew in waves of support from viewers who felt moved by her apparent honesty and pain. Donations rolled in, and her follower count grew, but slowly, a pattern started to reveal itself. Rather than seeing improvement in her and her children's lives, audiences began noticing that the suffering seemed to continue almost on purpose. The most disturbing shift came when it appeared Stephanie wasn't just documenting hard times but deliberately prolonging or exaggerating them for content. Her children, often looking uncomfortable, withdrawn, or simply too aware of the camera, became the emotional centerpieces of her posts. Their pain, their tears, even their silence were packaged into bite-sized videos designed to evoke a reaction. And whether that reaction was sympathy or outrage, it didn't matter.
Feelings of emotion, however, going to slowly but surely better each area in our life, and I started with our dental care. Go out with the old and with the new kind of method, if you will. I know some of you may be thinking, hey, you just cleaned this bathroom. If you're paying good enough attention in that cleaning video, the Guru Nada products were already on the counter. I am not about to do that over. Like I was saying, the Guru Nada products were already on the counter. Because when I did the whole cleaning video, I started with the counter, and I just played around with angles so that I could finish the rest of the bathroom. Let's get back to this bettering part of our lives. I chose to invest in our dental care first because I just felt like it was the most immediate need for our family all around. All of our kids regularly see dentists, and none of them had cavities, which is a win in any parent's book. As their kids are getting older, they stop losing all their baby teeth. They now have all of their adult teeth. I'm going to do anything and everything I can going forward to help them maintain the best oral health they can. Honestly, I did my research on this. I had never seen these concentrated mouthwash drops from Guru Nada, but there's 300 uses per bottle. Since I got 3 bottles in the pack, I'm expecting this to last us like at least 6-8 months. Using it for 3 days, and so far everybody's liking it. Okay, bye-bye now.
It all contributed to clicks, views, comments, and shares. To many, it began to seem like Stephanie wasn't seeking real solutions, but rather chasing algorithms. A recent video of hers raised eyebrows in a major way. In it, Stephanie claimed that her family's most urgent need was dental care. It was framed as an emergency, something immediate and critical. But then, shockingly, in the same video, she admitted her children didn't have any cavities, weren't in any pain, and had actually passed their latest dental visits with no issues at all. That contradiction left a lot of people asking, why bring this up? Why frame dental care as a crisis if there's no actual dental problem? The answer becomes clearer when you consider the broader context. The motel room Stephanie currently lives in with her children has been shown repeatedly in her content. It's visibly deteriorating. Mold is seen creeping along the corners of the bathroom walls. The fixtures are rusty and broken. The carpet is stained, and the general environment is visibly unsanitary and cramped. It's clear that the children are not living in a space that meets even the basic standards of comfort or safety. And yet, instead of focusing on getting them into a clean, livable home, Stephanie diverts attention to an issue that doesn't even exist. This kind of misdirection isn't just misleading, it's manipulative. Critics have said it's designed to generate urgency without addressing the real, visible problems her audience can already see. By centering a fabricated or exaggerated issue, she pulls viewers away from the very real question. Why hasn't there been any genuine improvement in her children's living conditions despite the donations and the growing platform? Even more alarming is how Stephanie seems to respond to criticism. Instead of acknowledging it or using it as motivation to make changes, she appears to us it as more content. Any backlash becomes fuel for more posts.
Perfected rage baiting. She's perfected it. Because, I mean, she posts things about the wash rag, she posts, when her and her boyfriend, baby daddy, whatever, go to like Target or doctor's appointments, like where are the other kids at? Obviously, they're home by themselves. What else? She posts about how her kids know, how she told her kids that people on the internet want to separate them from her. Like, And there's like a million other things, but she has perfected rage baiting at the expense of her kids' lives and happiness.
When people accuse her of exploitation or manipulation, she often reframes herself as a victim of online bullying or misunderstanding, which in turn garners more sympathy from her supporters. It's a cycle that feeds itself. Outrage leads to engagement, engagement leads to visibility, and visibility leads to more money. In this ecosystem, even negativity becomes profitable. The children, meanwhile, remain trapped in the center of all this. They continue to appear in the same dirty motel room, often looking sad, tired, or just numb to the process. Their home life, however unstable or unhygienic, is now content. Their tears, tantrums, and quiet moments aren't being dealt with privately, they're being filmed, edited, and shared with millions of strangers online. Many feel this crosses a serious ethical line. These are children who didn't consent to being turned into characters in an internet storyline. They don't seem to be benefiting from the attention. They're not being moved into better housing. Their needs aren't actually being met. The most recent twist came when Stephanie shared her disappointment that she wouldn't be able to take her children to Disney World. She expressed heartbreak at not being able to give them the kind of joy every child deserves. On the surface, it came across as a touching, relatable moment. What parent doesn't want to give their kids a special memory?
Lots of things to consider. Lots of things to consider that take time to consider. And it's hard because as a mom who's never been able to afford just a basic little vacation for my kiddos, I want to take my next month's payment and take my kids to Disney World or some crazy crap. But I know that's completely unrealistic. I toss between we only have one life to live and I want to create as many memories as I can. But then I bring myself right back to reality because I'm back to that immediate need mindset. All of my kids are constantly growing and need clothes all of the freaking time. Pretty soon here, we're going to lose our benefits and we're going to have to pay out of pocket for all of our means, which I know y'all can't wait for. But personally, I'm a little bit freaking terrified. I spent my whole 30 years of my life financially struggling. And now I spend my every day doing everything I can to try to create financial stability for my children and create some kind of future where they don't have to do the same kind of struggling with their kiddos. Just because I'm not doing it the way you see fit doesn't mean I'm not trying my hardest.
But for many viewers, the timing and context made the moment feel performative rather than genuine. Her children are still living in a single, overcrowded motel room where they eat, sleep, and bathe in the same cramped, unclean space. In that light, a trip to Disney seems less like a wholesome goal and more like another emotional trigger used to stir sympathy. Stephanie knows what resonates with people. She knows how to hit emotional pressure points, whether it's referencing lost childhood joy, discussing financial hardship, or painting herself as a mother just trying her best. But what's being questioned now is her intent. Is she genuinely seeking help, or has she found a way to turn her children's difficult reality into a content strategy? Each new post seems to blur that line further. The sad truth is that as long as the views and engagement continue, the incentives for change diminish. Her platform grows, her name spreads, and the donations keep coming in. But meanwhile, her children are still living in unacceptable conditions, their privacy continuously invaded, their dignity arguably compromised. They're the ones enduring the consequences while their lives become spectacle. When Stephanie Jenkins first stepped into the spotlight, she quickly captured attention with an emotional portrayal of hardship. She wasn't the first to do so. Snomi had taken a similar route, posting photos of her children sleeping on the floor, tugging at viewers' hearts.
I know it's not so sweet, but I've noticed that Stephanie always seems to have like the latest and greatest technology, and just like when she's showing her cleaning videos, she's always using something that normal people wouldn't have. But what I say that is, follow me, track. So when you are making money on TikTok, you will end up getting, and you don't even have to make a lot, you can be a small content creator, but companies will want to send you samples. They'll send you their products to review. A fun fact, it is a law that you have to mark your video. And I don't know if I would say a law. It is a rule, it is a guideline. You have to mark all products as being advertisements, and I think you can only use the hashtag for an advertisement if you are promoting a product. So if you're not doing that, you can't get bananaed. In addition, like, she has a lot of things. She went through a whole era of her life where she was just promoting the different products that people would send her. She does it not as much because I don't think it fits her narrative of being in poverty. So she stopped and kind of stepped away from what I've noticed on the trends on her videos. She's not promoting as many products as she used to when it was relatively new, when she was getting this, she became viral and she was getting more views and her momentum was picking up. But yeah, I just really want you to know that she has resources that she can use. There are plenty of resources in Oregon that you just have to use if you want to get out of situations like that. But again, it's a choice.
That single image ignited a wave of generosity. People jumped into action. Donations flooded in. Bunk beds were delivered. It felt like a community coming together to make a tangible difference. But now it's clear Stephanie has taken that formula and refined it, turning struggle into a well-oiled strategy. What once seemed like a cry for help now feels more like a calculated performance. The structure remains the same: show distress, hint at desperation, and wait for support to arrive. It's a recycled script with new props, but the storyline is familiar. Every time the pattern repeats, it becomes more difficult to distinguish real need from emotional manipulation. Some viewers have begun to question the reality behind the scenes. There's ongoing debate about how much Stephanie actually earns from her online presence. While some claim her income from TikTok reaches upwards of $15,000 a month, others insist that figure is inflated, that it's more like a few $1,000s from live stream gifts and video views. But let's be honest, whether she's earning $5, $8, or even $15,000 monthly, that's a substantial amount of money, more than enough to rent a clean, safe 2-bedroom apartment in many cities across the US, even in more expensive areas. It's feasible with proper budgeting and planning. Add to that the array of public assistance programs available: housing support, SNAP benefits, Medicaid, child tax credits, utility subsidies, and it becomes harder to justify why the family is still living in a cramped, deteriorating motel. The answer may lie in the strategy itself. Stephanie doesn't appear interested in finding stability or making progress.
So beauty is an emotion, how we're going to slowly but surely better each area in our life, and I started with our dental care. Go out with the old and with the new kind of method, if you will. I know some of you may be thinking, hey, you just clean this bathroom. If you're paying good enough attention in that cleaning video, the Guru Nada products were already on the counter. I am not about to do that over. Like I was saying, the Guru Nada products were already on the counter. Because when I did the whole cleaning video, I started with the counter, and I just played around with angles so that I could finish the rest of the bathroom. Let's get back to this bettering part of our lives. I chose to invest in our dental care first because I just felt like it was the most immediate need for our family all around. All of our kids regularly see dentists, and none of them had cavities, which is a win in any parent's book. As our kids are getting older, they stop losing all their baby teeth and now have all of their adult teeth. I'm going to do anything and everything I can going forward to help them maintain the best oral health they can. Honestly, I did my research on this. I had never seen these concentrated mouthwash drops from Guru Nada, but there's 300 uses per bottle. As I got 3 bottles in the pack, I'm expecting this to last us like at least 6-8 months. Using it for 3 days, and so far everybody's liking it. Okay, bye-bye now.
Instead, she seems focused on preserving the image of ongoing struggle. By staying visibly on the edge, she maintains a steady flow of sympathy, donations, and attention. It's not about escaping poverty, it's about maintaining just enough of it to stay profitable. Her children's circumstances are being used as the foundation for this model. The worn-out motel room, the lack of privacy, the unsanitary conditions, they all serve as powerful backdrops for the story being sold online. The messier it looks, the more invested her followers become. It's a form of content that thrives on discomfort. Every messy corner, every moment of tension, every glimpse of hardship becomes part of the brand. Stephanie is not just surviving within these conditions, she's using them to build a profitable narrative. This cycle is deeply disturbing. The children are essentially living inside a stage, and their pain and lack of stability have become key selling points. Meanwhile, government assistance isn't just a safety net for emergencies, it's an integral part of a long-term strategy that lets Stephanie continue this lifestyle without real change. She's receiving housing help, food support, medical coverage, and tax benefits. Still, she's made little effort to find steady employment or create a secure home environment. Even more troubling is that Stephanie has openly stated she intends to stay in that same motel room for another year. It's not a temporary fix, it's a plan. A room where her kids sleep a few feet from the bathroom, where they lack space, privacy, and peace. This isn't a last resort. It's a deliberate setup that maintains the illusion of crisis.
Perfected rage baiting. She's perfected because, I mean, she posts things about the wash rag. She posts when her and her boyfriend, baby daddy, whatever, go to like Target or doctor's appointments. Like, where are the other kids at? Obviously, they're home by themselves. What else? She posts about how her kids know, how she told her kids that people on the internet want to separate them from her. Like, and there's like a million other things, but she has perfected rage baiting at the expense of her kids' lives and happiness.
By refusing to move forward, she locks her children in place. They're growing up in an environment that lacks the most basic elements of comfort and dignity. Yet she continues to present this reality to the internet as if it's unchangeable, all while collecting donations and attention from strangers who believe they're helping someone in desperate need. What's most unsettling is that Stephanie doesn't need to fix anything. She just needs to appear like she's trying, and that's enough to keep people watching and giving. The more this continues, the more acceptable it becomes to her followers. Her audience adapts to the dysfunction, normalizes it, and keeps rewarding it. Choosing to keep your children in those conditions, not because you have no way out, but because the discomfort generates income, is exploitation at its core. It's building a business on the backs of innocent kids, turning government aid and public compassion into long-term tools for profit. This isn't resilience, it's manipulation masked as vulnerability. But people are beginning to notice. Supporters who once donated out of sympathy are pulling away. Some have spoken up about feeling misled, even ashamed. Others are taking further steps, organizing online efforts to raise awareness, encouraging people to stop sending money, and questioning where their contributions have actually gone. It becomes even more disturbing when this kind of manipulation turns into a full-blown business model. And let's be honest, if Stephanie still hasn't chosen to put her children's well-being first after everything she's received after the viral fame, the massive wave of donations, and countless second chances, it's safe to say she never truly intended to.
Want to take their kids to Disneyland before getting their kids a home. Mind you, she just told us that they have been using rags to wipe and clean themselves since they cannot afford toilet paper. She has also been putting everyone's toothbrushes in empty Gatorade bottles. But her man just bought a $100 game.
Her priorities have never been a mystery. She puts them on display for the world to see every single day. Every carefully choreographed live stream, every emotionally charged plea, every opportunity to capitalize on her children's hardships reveals exactly where her focus lies. No excuse or tear-filled apology can drown out the message her actions have been sending loud and clear. And thankfully, more and more people are starting to hear it. Stephanie had every opportunity to change her family's path. She had the platform, the public sympathy, and financial support that so many struggling parents can only hope for. She could have us those resources to secure proper housing, provide her kids with therapy, and start building a stable, hopeful future. But she didn't. She chose to chase internet fame instead of real change. She prioritized clicks over care, and in doing so, she turned her children's real-life struggles into a content pipeline. These kids aren't part of a scripted drama. They're not influencers or performers. They're just children, being asked to prop up a brand built on heartache and dysfunction. No amount of emotionally manipulative videos, staged apologies, or dreams of Disneyland can hide the truth anymore. The veil has lifted, and people are seeing it for what it really is. Thanks for sticking around till the end. This is a tough topic, but it's one that needs to be talked about. If you believe children should never be asked as content, and that their safety and dignity should always come first, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with others, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going and keep holding people accountable. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives, breakdowns, and real talk, because the internet might move fast, but the truth deserves to be heard. Until next time, take care of yourself, protect the ones who can't speak up, and I'll see you in the next video.